All right, welcome to another podcast. Just want to confirm everything's working. All right, seems like everything is working. Just want to go over just a few things that I have seen on YouTube and talk about a little bit about my book and a few other things that I have on my mind. One that I've seen on YouTube, which I don't know why people seem to think they know everything, but they seem to know nothing. Some I've seen, and they will just stick to their story, even though it is nowhere near or at all of what they're saying. And one that really stuck out was they say once you buy your home or your land, you own it. Of course, that's exactly the way it works. But their story is as long as you have to pay taxes, you never own your home or land. And that is far from the truth. Once you buy your land and your home and you pay it off, you own it. They say, well, after you pay it off, you're still paying taxes. So you're actually still paying rent. Why are these people so ignorant of how things work? I even reached out to some of them and explained to them what taxes actually cover. Even sent them links to websites to explain what that covers. It covers the public schools, it covers the fire department, the police department, and many other things. The drainage, around your property and everybody else's property to keep everybody safe. I don't get in an argument with them. I just flat out tell them once you pay off your home and your land, you own it. Taxes are not for the home. It's the surroundings and the services for your home and land. I just don't understand why people get things in their head and think it's the only way and it's the truth. I really feel sorry for them people that go through life that way. Oh, I got plenty of time. I'll take care of my bills, later on in life. And then they just keep getting piled up, and then they get overwhelmed. And then they don't know what to do because they can't figure out how to resolve the issue they put themselves in. But once you tell these people that taxes covers for local schools, infrastructure, proper drainages in the area, police department, sheriff department, fire department, other services that rely on by living on that property. I just don't understand why people just can't understand how the world works. It don't matter how much you show them the sites, the facts, how it works. They just want to start an argument is what they want to do because they don't have nothing else to do. They're not brilliant enough to understand how things go. They just have a real terrible life and they want everybody else to have just as bad life as they do, trying to bring everybody down to their level. Some people will just make up things or take somebody else's word as fact. And I think and strongly feel that it's always been that way. The social media world has just brought it to surface even more. Things that you never hear of, know of, don't see in the news is all over social media. Social media is a good thing, but it can be abused for bad things. And something else I've had people say. People say that I'm not retired because I'm still doing work. Work is doing labor and make a living from it and rely on it. But I'm not. I don't even use any of the finances that comes from my hobbies that I have. And that's just them being ignorant or mad and upset that they can't do the same thing. Well, they can do the same thing. They just don't put themselves in a place where they are able to. They're not willing to put in the effort and what needs to be done to make it happen. It's too difficult for them. So the next best thing they do is put down everybody else that has already done it. Trying to bring that person or people down just because they can't force themselves to do what others have done. And I just simply tell them, I say, I can completely stop doing the internet and just sell everything because I don't need it. I'm not using it. I'm not working. It's a hobby. Just the same as somebody got a 1955 Chevy up on jacks and rebuilding it in their backyard. They're doing labor. They're working just like anybody else that restores cars. But the difference is they're not making any money. Regardless if they have money coming from it by putting it in car shows. But it's a hobby. I'm installing internet just like any other company. But the difference is the companies are making money, making profit. Their goal is to make money. I'm out there just to keep myself physically moving and get myself out of the house and get people internet, regardless if it makes money for itself or not. It's called a hobby, not work. People just jealous or mad or upset by, to themselves because they're not retired. I don't get upset about it. I just tell them, I'm like, it's a hobby and that's just the way it is. Take it or leave it. And I have a few people that say the internet's not working because their TV is buffering. They even send me pictures of it, and some of it will show me the app that they're using, and it says right there, it says they're having issues with their network. So that tells me, and it should tell them, that it's not the Wi-Fi, it's the network that you're watching. And you can look, anybody can look up on Google, because there is a known issue on smart TVs, all brands, all sizes, that they just disconnect from the Wi-Fi periodically for no reason. It's because they don't use the high quality components in there to keep it from doing it. I mean, yeah, you can have a resistor, but is it a 5%, 10%, 15% tolerance, or it's different quality of the same part. And if you use the lower grade, it means you're going to have issues, and that's a common thing. It may not be the Wi-Fi or the network. It may be just a TV losing connection. Anybody can look that up on the internet. I try to explain that to the ones that has issues, but they don't want to listen. I just wash my hands, and all I do is reboot their router. Oh, it works now. Or they say it's not working, and I look at their router and it's pulling something like 15 to 25 megabits per second. Solid. It's very solid. So something's working on the Wi-Fi. It may not be the TV, but the internet's working. The Wi-Fi is working. They even tell on themselves sometimes too. A TV ain't working, but my phone's works, or my tablet is working fine on the Wi-Fi. Can you reboot? Turn your TV off and turn it back on. Sometimes I had a few that's no longer clients now because they moved, that I felt like I was holding their hand, like babysitting. I told them, just turn the TV off, turn it back on, and it'll reconnect. Or go into the settings and tell it to check the connection. And usually that fixes it. And in the past, when I try to help people to save money, they're all in of to save money so they can better themselves. But they're not willing to do the physical part. I mean, simple things like switch cell service providers. They got like one phone and they're paying like $70, $80 a month for unlimited. Okay, well, I've been with Straight Talk basically from the time they actually started. And I'm paying less than $80. I think it's something like 72 after tax and all that mess. And I got more than one line on it for unlimited on all phones. They're not willing to take the jump and do what it takes to save money. They're pretty much like the other people. They all talk, but they can't make the jump or back up what they're saying. And like I said, I honestly believe that's the way the world has been for quite some time, probably before I even was born. But you just didn't see it unless you're physically there. Now, social media, pretty much you can be anywhere. And some people are proud to display their way of life, ignorancy, whatever you want to call it. I think it's always been there. It's just the social media has brought it to surface. And the people I tried to help to save money, but they have a bad habit to keep buying things that forces them to keep working, to buy a new car. 5 years, they got to buy the latest new car. Puts them back right in the rut of making payments. Oh, there's nothing wrong with the car. It's just 5 years old now. It's going to start breaking down. Well, that's cheaper than have monthly payments. If you maintain the car, you won't have it to break down. But you can't convince them of that. That's just like my car. I brought it back in 2020. And I just had to put $1,000 in it because some bypass valve for the cooling system. Of course, I can probably done it myself and save me probably $600-700, but I just don't want to work on the car no more. Bending over in the engine compartment and stuff like that, my back would kill me. So I'd rather just take it to the dealer and say, hey, the engine light's on. What is it? How much? Do you have the part? Fix it. Because I put myself in the position that I am able to do that. So I don't have to get my hands dirty or burnt or whatever, I don't have no air conditioned place to put it to work on. I have to work on it in the backyard. When it's 108, 110, I'm not going to be wanting to work on an engine of any part of it. Not even changing the battery. Battery went dead. I had them to come to my house and change out the battery. And all this new electronic components and everything else, I don't want to mess with it anyway. You have to, all the tools and the diagnostic plugins and everything else to figure out what it is. You can almost take all that and buy a used car because what it would cost to get all them tools. I'd rather just give it to somebody. That way, if something happens, I was like, well, y'all did it. Y'all fix it. You did it wrong. Well, correct it and fix it. It's all documented in their computer system. And I get a printout each time they do something. So if they say, oh, we don't have the history, I was like, well, here it is. A whole stack of papers. And then people that wants to keep buying the newest car every 4 or 5 years just because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, but they really don't analyze what they're doing because they don't realize and find out that the Joneses never retired because they always trying to get the next best thing. Some people work themselves out of retirement. We used to have old saying, you work so hard, you work yourself out of work because you got everything done. Well, these people work so hard, they work themselves out of retirement because they always doing something that prevents them be able to stop. They always got something to pay for. And they always want to blame it on the society, inflation and everything else. Well, I'm in the same country, Same inflation, but I have no issues. It's the lifestyle that you want to live, not the lifestyle that you have to live. It's the one that you just eager to live and try to live up to the Joneses and look so hotty mighty or whatever to your friends and buddies. Well, that BS is going to cost you retirement. I just don't understand why people not willing to do what it takes to have a good life for themselves. They keep doing things that just keeps them they keep forcing themselves to work even more because they do things that generates more money that they got to pay. And that can be getting a credit card and buying more than what they need and can't work enough to pay it off because they keep buying things just as fast as they pay it off. Oh, I just paid $100 on the credit card means I can buy $100 worth of... No, that's not how it works. You're not adding the interest and all that in there. If you keep doing it that way, you'll never get it paid off. Or they have a bad driving record and just run into whatever and cost them repairs, higher insurance, lawyer fees. They just keep doing things that just prevents them from having a good life and be able to retire, whether that's early or not. And some of them are just locked in on the society blueprint of you do this, A, B, C, D, and E. You high school and college, degree, work, marry, kids, big home. Have the 2-car garage and the newest cars, and that forces you to work until you're 65, 70, 75 years old. I mean, I got a $30,000 car. It'll get me from one side of the United States to the other nice and smoothly. And it gets great gas mileage. I don't need a 2026 or 2027 new vehicle. It'll get me from coast to coast as well, but I'll have payments. Don't need it. Some people shoot themselves in the foot and wonder why they are where they are. They can only blame themselves. And people say about the situation that I had to go through, like, if I was picked up and I was put into jail, I have to be guilty of whatever I was charged with. Again, that's ignorancy of not knowing how things work. Just because you get picked up and accused of something and sit there for 512 days don't mean you're guilty. I never saw the inside of the courtroom about it. Nothing. Not one day, not 1 second did I go to court for any of it. nor did I take any plea deals. I told them to go pile sand. If you want to talk to me, come tell me that I can go home, because that's the only thing I'm going to talk about. If that's not what you want to talk about, don't come talk to me. But it took them 13 days to realize that I meant what I said. I'm not going to talk to anybody about anything except where do I sign a line, my name on the line to go home. But some people say, oh, he must be guilty. He went to jail. I just laugh at them. Them kind of people you just ignore. Don't let them people bring you down. Don't get in an argument with them. Don't try to prove your point, your facts, and what the situation is. You know what the truth is. That's all you need to know. It's the burden of them to prove you wrong. And when you know you got the facts on your side, there's no possible way ever them proving you wrong. So I don't let them kind of people get to me whatsoever. I stand there or talk to them on the phone or whatever and try to explain to them in a reasonable period of time, 15, 20 minutes or whatever. And if they keep going around like a circle, keep going back to the same thing, I just cut ties. And it don't matter who it is. I don't care if I've known that person for decades. I'll cut them loose. That's why I don't have that many people in my contacts on my phone. I've gotten people that I used to talk to, hang out with on a weekly basis. I took them out of my contacts because just the way their way of thinking is not real, not the reality of how this world works. And I've had one of them say, hey, I kept on calling, you never picked up. Did you leave a voicemail? Nope. Then I don't know who you are, because you're no longer in my contacts. If you want me to call you back, leave a voicemail. That's what it's there for. But you got to be a very important person for me to even consider calling you back. It's hard to get your name in my contacts, but it's even harder to get back into my contacts. I haven't had anybody that I've taken out actually got back into the contacts, and they probably never will, because I don't do it lightly of taking people out of my contacts. I don't block them by their number. I just take them out. And I don't answer my phone unless a name pops up with the number. It just goes to voicemail. And that helps on spam calls as well, because as soon as you pick up and the computer recognizes a voice, it puts you on a list of active numbers, so it's going to call you even more. I get maybe one spam call a day. Some day, 2 or 3 days, I go without even a spam call at all, because I don't answer it unless it's a name attached to it. But when you try to explain to somebody, regardless of what it is, for me, myself, like, I was falsely accused, and that's what my book is written, because that's a fact. I was falsely accused, and the book proves it. And even I had some people to read the book, and they still determined to say I'm guilty just because I was picked up and put in jail. That's all on them of being that ignorant. But that's all I really want to say. It's just a few things I've had on my mind that I tried to have a podcast every week, but just life goes on. I mean, when you're retired, it's a lot of family time. I had for the last 2 or 3 weeks, exception of the last week, but prior to that, 3 or 4 weeks, I had all the grandkids here and my daughter. And it was a house full, non-stop going, sun up, sun down, and all the hours in between. But I enjoyed every bit of it. But I'm trying to my best to be here every Saturday and have a podcast. And I got it set up now that I can do it even on my cell phone. So if I'm not here and I got the time, I will. But I want to thank everyone that come by and listened while I was live here broadcasting, and all the ones that came by after. But the main thing, the moral of the story here, don't let people get you in an uproar just because they do not agree with you and you know that you got the facts on your side. Don't let people get under your skin. Just tell them the facts. Whether they believe it or not, that's on them. And if they want to keep harping on it after you already told them, you can just cut them loose. Let them go. Put some distance between you. Maybe not cut them completely out of your life, but good enough that you don't have to be harassed about, whatever the subject is. Have a good life. But to have a good life is not only getting people out of your life, it's taking care of your responsibilities of your own life that nobody else can. You keep messing around, not doing things you're supposed to do for years, decades, and then you realize you're getting old, 45, 50, 55, 60. Then try to buckle down and try to all squeeze it in, whatever time you got left. Don't work too well that way. But some of us have waited till we're 45, 50 years old and then woke up and realized that, hey, I need to buckle down and get this done because nobody else is going to do it for me. So you got to, what you supposed to done when you're 20 to 50 years old, if you kind of got slack and you got all that on you when you're 50, well, that's, 30 years. So if you've done half of what you put, that's 15 years. So that's 65, 70. You're forcing yourself to work. That is something that you cannot get anybody else to fix for you. I think that comes back to the old saying, well, you made the bed, you got to lay in it. But that's all I got to say this week. And there's a few other things too, but I'm going to make another show out of it. Things I just see every day and watch online on videos, things that people do and say. And they wonder why their life is all turned upside down. They think they have all the answers. I know a lot, but I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. At least not anybody that's still living on this world. But thank you for coming by and all and listening. And I'll talk to you in the next podcast. And hopefully it'll be next Saturday.